I've been doing game dev for 2 years, and here's everything important that I've learned leading up to my first serious attempt at a full game release. Before going through all my past projects, it's important to know that I use Godot game engine for everything, which is free online. So the first project I ever worked on was a crappy 2D platformer where basically you're just a knight sprite and you fight a simple alien NPC that's constantly running at you and hitting you. This was during my sophomore year and it was just for a class project, but it helped me learn the basics of how the engine worked. After learning the basics of Godot, my friend Tommy asked if I wanted to help him develop a 3D mobile game. This was a daily disc golf game, and I was excited to join to learn the 3D side of Godot as well as 3D design in general. It took about a year of dev to complete, which was way too much time. We repeatedly lost motivation and development was not consistent whatsoever. It was a relatively large scope of work for our first actual game, but we managed to get it out. It's on the App Store now as Daily Disc, and we created a studio to release it called Bird Burger Games. Since development was so inconsistent, I ended up making 2 other demos during development of Daily Disc. The first demo I worked on was a 2.5D demo that was mixed in with a 2D platformer as well. I worked on another demo as well after this, which was a purely 2D platformer demo. Both these games relied heavily on storylines that I came up with, and I didn't flesh out good mechanics. As a result, the games that I made turned out to be relatively basic in terms of controls and mechanics, but otherwise I learned a lot about creating environments and implementing different visuals. After working on these games in Daily Disc, Tommy and I decided to start joining game jams to flesh out more mechanics and learn more about what other developers are doing. The first jam that Tommy and I joined was a boss rush jam with the theme Spin. It was a month-long jam, so it was our first chance to create a polished product as a full PC game, and we placed somewhere around 100 to 200 out of around 800 to 900 participants. After that, I joined a game jam of my own, which was a 1-bit game jam with around 200 participants, and the theme was winter. I went with a much smaller scope of work since it was a week long, and I remember cramming the menu, music, and the ending at the end of the jam on the last night. But I managed to submit the final product, and I actually did get 4th place, which was a huge win for me personally. After a little break, Tommy and I joined our largest game jam yet, which was the Brackeys game jam, and we had a huge problem with the scope. It was a week-long game jam, and we wanted to make way too much stuff. So we ended up creating a ton of content within the levels, but as a result, we weren't able to focus on the core mechanics as much, and the problems that we had with the core mechanics are what ended up ruining our chances of any placement, and we placed 249. Placement isn't everything though. We learned so much from those game jams, and we feel so much more confident as developers now moving forward from them. All of this leads up to my first demo that I'm working on for an actual game release. I won't dive into what the actual game is yet, but if you guys enjoy this content, make sure to like and follow the account, and I'll make another video on this game later.